another one.
I just found out a recent graduate with a master's is getting paid 16,000 British pounds annually. All right. So it says it's their first job as a part two architectural assistant. Assistant. Right after graduation in a small office in the UK. They have been working for a little over 6 months. They just told me they're getting paid 16K annually, and I gasped. Isn't that below minimum wage? Isn't that illegal? I was getting paid 18K as a part one. For those outside the UK, that means I finished year 3 of my studies and was working full time for an office for a year before continuing my studies back in 2018. From what they tell me, it's pretty hands-on and stressful job, and they're working overtime very often. Are they getting exploited here, or am I just tripping? Okay. I mean, it could have been an unpaid internship, right? You guys do not know the value of experience. You guys just don't get it. I've seen so many people struggling. Up, like we said the other day, right? Three 3,480. What's that number? 3,480. That's how many applications you need to do in a year for this one, which I'm pretty sure most of them are like that, right? But for this one boot camp, in order for you to be able to qualify for a refund, right? The first 6 months, 95 applications a week in your metropolitan area, 95 applications a week or 380 a month, right? For the first 6 months. I'm going to go off on a limb. If in one of those weeks you apply for 93, and you try to make it up by applying for 97 the following week, and you have to have it all documented, that they can definitely hold that against you, right? Or if in a month, right? What if it's February and you end up applying for 375 or 370 because let's say you're doing 5 a day or something. I don't know. Well, more than 5 a day, but whatever the number is, right? And because there's only 28 days, it's not even a leap year. You end up with 370 instead of your 380. Oh, on February, you didn't meet the qualifications, the criteria to get a refund. Sorry. Right? So I've met so many people who they're trying to transition into a role, right? And what's their number one barrier to transitioning into that role? Experience. They don't have the necessary experience. So now this person is fresh out of college. Fresh out of college. And they're gaining experience. What do you think happens in an entry level job? Like, especially as an assistant. Anybody ever see the movie The Devil Wears Prada? What was she doing as an assistant? Everything. How much was she getting paid? Barely nothing. But the value of experience, because from that experience that she had, she was able to go and do so many more things. From the experience that you have, My experience started off working at a call center, answering phone calls. See, but our entitledness, right? Are they getting exploited? So, are they getting exploited? Is somebody is the boss, is the architect, because he's an architectural assistant. So, is the architect holding a gun to his head, telling him that he has no choice? He can quit, he can ask for a raise, he can go find another job. Minimum wage. Minimum wage is a joke. It's artificial. It's supply and demand. Because what? Okay, let's say this, right? Let's say this. What if the architect says, "You know what? I feel so bad that I'm exploiting you, right? Like I can't exploit you anymore. I just can't do it. I just realized that I've been exploiting you by paying you 16,000 British pounds, and I just can't exploit you anymore. So you're fired. You're fired. I can't do it anymore. My conscience is eating at me. I can't pay you more. I just can't afford to pay you more, but I can't exploit you either. So therefore, you're fired." Now
Message.
we went from making 16K and getting valuable experience that would propel you to next levels. Maybe you don't have to be that assistant anymore. Maybe you can become the actual architect now. Maybe if you spend time working with that architect, then you can become partners with that architect, right? Take on your own projects, get paid more money, right? But because it's quote unquote below minimum wage, and that's what all the comments are saying, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," right? So now, because the architect feels guilty for exploiting you who made the choice to accept the $16,000, now you have nothing. Now you go from 16K and experience to 0. And that's why I say, be careful about the advice that you accept. I am very, very careful with the advice that I listen to, because if you're reading it, let's say you're reading this, right, and you're making 16K as well. Like, let's say you're in the same predicament, right, and you're reading what this person says, like, oh, they started off at 18K, and all the people in the comments are saying, oh no, like this is so wrong, this is so wrong, this is so wrong. And now you go and you talk to the boss, and you're saying, I feel like I'm being exploited because this person on Reddit said that they were making 18K when they first started. All these people in the comments saying I'm making below minimum wage and blah 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 blah. And now he has a change of heart. Like, oh my God, you're right. I've been exploiting you all this time. You're fired. And you're taken aback. Now you have no experience and you have no income. Now you have to go back home to your mother and your father and explain that because you were getting exploited and you expressed that to your boss, that now you have no job. And now dad can't watch the football game because you were supposed to pay a cable bill. That's all they asked you to do was pay the cable bill, right? But because you were listening to the people on Reddit, they told you that you're getting exploited when you're actually getting valuable experience so you could be propelled to the next level. Now, your father can't watch the soccer game. The football game. Oh well.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.
Enigmatic Joker.